Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupak Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatir uttamashloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha nanda gopakumaraya govindaya namo namaha. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. What I can see, the amazing sight is that 100% audience is video off. So I will also put my video off and give my lecture. How does that look? Good? Attractive? Interesting? You have to be also sensitive to the feelings of the speaker. The speaker is not trained to speak to the screen. The speaker is trained to speak to people. And if people are not able to show their videos, then there's no point in giving lecture and preparing so hard for so many days. Let me be honest with you. So today our topic is Krishna kills Arishtasur. The whole information and knowledge about Krishna killing Arishtasur is studied from Srimad Bhagavatam, Vishnu Puran, Gopal Champu and Garg Samhita. These are the four scriptures from where we have derived today's information. And if you enthuse me, it will be descriptive. If you discourage me, it will be in a nutshell. That you should know very clearly. So Krishna was 10-year-old when this Leela took place. And it was the month of Chaitra. Another interesting thing to find out. That is why there is a philosophical debate that whether Radha Kund was formed in Kartik month or in Chaitra month. As per Gopal Champu, it is in Chaitra when this happened. So it was evening time and Sri Krishna was at Govardhan and he was about to play his flute to invite gopis to perform Rasa Leela. Because this is well past over the Sharad Purnima Rasa Leela, and Krishna has by that time performed Rasa Leela in many places in Vrindavan Dham. And this evening, particular evening, he was at Arishtavan, which was later on named as Arishtavan, but today is Arishtavan. And he played his flute, thinking that is good evening time and let me have Ras Leela. So he played his flute. And what do you expect in return? That gopis will come and join him. But suddenly he started hearing tumultuous sounds, horrifying sounds in the atmosphere. like earthquake, like something like bomb blast, or something like hurricane, and something like cyclone. All these sounds together, how do you feel it will be? We have experienced something of one type in this material world. We don't have bomb blast with cyclone, with hurricane, everything together. Earthquake don't happen together. But this was something like that. Why is that? Because a bull demon entered in Govardhan area. He bifurcated the earth whenever he stepped. That means what? He had 4 limbs. He was such a gigantic bull. His tail was in the sky, withering the clouds from one place to another. His hump was also in the sky, and the clouds were hovering around the hump, thinking that it was mountain. And with his 4 limbs, when he was galloping inside Vrindavan Dham, each hoof, when it fell in the ground, it was not on the ground. It always created a hole in the ground. And that hole touched the underwater source of water, and the water sprung out as fountain. So you can imagine how many thousands of such fountains were created on the earth by one demon galloping from out of Vrindavan to inside Vrindavan. So earth bifurcated every time. It created holes, creating springs of water. Clouds became agitated by the sound of his feet. Moon became distorted by his agitation. He kept passing so much urine and so much stool purposely on the way that it created rivers of urine and mountains of stools. How obnoxious it must have been, the scenario that this Arishtasur created. Running in zigzag manner in full speed, he was disfiguring earth like anything. He dug up hills and hillocks with horns and hooves. Whatever hills and hillocks we were coming across, he was digging them up, uprooting them. Vrindavan became very dusty. Water rose from the bifurcations of earth like tears of earth crying. His 2 eyes between these 2 horns were blazing like 2 suns. He roared and terrified all the living beings, and Krishna came there to see. Now, I will read another description from Vishnu Puran. This is a very, very graphic description. It is from 5th chapter, 5th Amsha of Vishnu Puran and 15th chapter. When Krishna was about to start Rasa Leela at Govardhan at evening time, Arishtasur came. He had dark complexion. He had sharp horn, Krishna Shranga. His eyes were effulgent as sun, Arka Lochana. One of the names of the sun is Arka. So you say Arkaya Namaha. So he was Arka Lochana, like sun. His shoulders were like hard rock. He was constantly grinding his teeth in anger, licking his lips with his tongue, raising his tail. He was so huge and high, touching the sky, insurmountable to all. His neck was tall. His mouth was like huge, expansive hole in the tree. He was creating so much terror in Gopas and Gopis that the Gopis were pregnant. They aborted their babies. Embracing the tree in fear, they lost their babies. He was killing all sadhus, and not only Gopis, but all the other living beings, females, that is the Madi of so many other living species. They also aborted their eggs and babies. We are reading it so peacefully over here. I was thinking, if you and me were there when Arishtasur actually came, what would have happened to us? We wouldn't have sat in nice pravachan listening to the story, how wonderful it was, how terrified the earth was, how living beings were crying, how babies were being aborted from the mother's wombs. So that's why it is explained that when Krishna Lila has been described, we should try to relate to it. We should try to be there, to see what the Brajbasis must have gone through when all these things were happening. What kind of terror, fear, uncertainty, insecurity they must have been going through. And how Krishna responded to that to protect those Brijvasis who had complete faith in them. So we go ahead and we start reading. Then what happened? All the Brijvasis were shouting, not only the gopis who came, who were around, all the Brijvasis were, because this terror was all over the Braj. Maybe, war is going on in Ukraine and in Ukraine by Russia, but all of the earth is affected by that. Similarly, the terror actually is happening in Govardhan area, but everything in Vrindavan was under terror. So all the Brajvasis shouted, Krishna, Krishna, please save us. And Krishna said, do not fear. Ma Shuchaha, I'm there. Don't worry, I'm coming. The bull roared. Krishna roared like a lion. Singanad. Krishna clapped. Talashabdam. Why? Why he clapped? Because he wanted to create assurance in the hearts of the Brajvasis. Don't worry, I am there. He did not try to show that he also was terrified and he had to also prepare and gather weapons. He was just standing very casually, putting his hand on the shoulder of his friend, very casually. Agranyasta Vishannagraha Krishna Kukshi Kritekshanaha Abhyadhava Dushtatmaha Krishnam Vishabhadanava. What is the demon doing? Vishannagraha. Taking his horns, pointing towards Krishna's Kukshi, that means Krishna's armpit. Bagal mein. He was aiming his horns to attack Krishna on Krishna's side at Kukshi. Krishna Kukshi Kritekshana, Kruta Akshenaha is aiming at that point to attack Krishna. Abhyadhavat Dushtatma, that wicked soul is running towards Krishna. And Krishnam Vishabhadanavaha, that Vishabhadanava means that demon who was bull, was running towards Krishna. Krishna saw him, Krishna Drishtva Krishno, Ayantam Daitya Vrishabham Arishtasur. So Arishtasur was coming, Daitya Vrishabha was coming, Ayantam. Nachachala Tada Stanat Avagya Smita Leelaya. Krishna, what he did? What he did? Smita Leelaya, smiling and very, very comfortably, Krishna neglected him. He didn't even move out of scare or didn't even take stands to attack him. He just simply neglected. As crocodile catches his prey, Krishna caught Arishtasur. Now Arishtasur is standing in stands to attack Krishna. And suddenly, as a crocodile, a big animal, catches a small prey. Like that, Krishna caught hold of this demon. And Krishna kicked him in his Kukshi. Jaghana Januna. That means Krishna with his knee kicked the Asura under his one limb inside. That is his Kukshi. Our Kukshi is under our one limb. So Krishna also kicked Arishtasur under his one limb. Then held his horns in his hands firmly and smashed the pride of Arishta. Tasya darpa balam bhangtva. What is darpa? Darpa means the stink which come out of pride of power. Darpam, darpa balam. Tasya, that means his pride out of his power, Krishna broke and squeezed his neck like the wet cloth. Kantham klinnam iva ambaram. Ambaram means what? Is cloth. And how the ladies and gents, when we clean our clothes, what do? We squeeze them with water. So like that, he squeezed his neck. Kantham klinnam. Klinnam means squeezed. Iva ambaram. Then Krishna uprooted one of his horn. Utpatya Shringam Ekam. This is very interesting. Krishna uprooted one of his horn. In his horn was not like 1 inch or 2 inches. It was very, very, very long, pointed, sharp, horrible, and terrifying horn. Krishna uprooted that. And what he did? Tena eva tala yattat. He stabbed him with that horn, with that sharp horn. He stabbed Arishtasur in his abdomen. Arishta vomited blood. What is written there? Mukha chonitam udvamana. Asrug vamana. Asrug vamana means asrug is blood. So when Krishna smashed that Arishtasur in his Kukshi, in his side of the body, with the horn, he vomited blood. And then what happened? Mutra, Shakruta, Sumutsrijana, profusely, he passed stool and urine. Kshipangscha Padana, he kicked his legs helplessly. Anavastita Akshena, rolling with unsteady eyes. Kruchram, with pain, Jagam, he went. Pushpai Kiranto, at that time the demigods were showering flowers. Harim Idire Sura, the demigods worship Sri Hari, looking at the beautiful fight. Another description of fight also is given here. Krishna became confident. Krishna became hard like thunderbolt as Arishta came running. Krishna laughed purposely to irritate him. Krishna kicked him 18 times and threw him in the air. He tumbled on the earth again and again at various points. And at that time, Devatas also tumbled again and again in the heavens with laughter. The Devatas are watching nights in the sky. So as Krishna is kicking and pushing, even Devatas are laughing in the sky. Oh demon, why are you showing your prowess from far away? Krishna said. Come and satisfy me as the ocean satisfied Agastya Muni's thirst. Krishna said, oh Arishta, you fool, what do you think you are doing? Frightening coward community and their animals? Why I am here? I am here to punish miscreants. Come to me. Don't try to scare the Durbala Brajvasis. Gopalair Pashubir Mandatrasitai. You are troubling these poor people and poor animals. Kim Asattam Mai Shastri Dushtanam. I am here to punish the miscreants. Tvad Vidhanam Duratmanan. People like you who are Duratmas, to destroy them I have appeared here. So why are you wasting your time frightening the poor people? Come and show your prowess to me. And thus Krishna began his fight. I just explained the whole fight to you. So then finally Krishna stabbed him, made him vomit blood, lifted him, threw him on the ground, lifted him, threw him in the sky. And I also have heard that in the process, in the fight in between, Arishtasur lifted Govardhan mountain and threw at Krishna. And Krishna caught the mountain and threw it back on Arishtasur, which made the Arishtasur fall down. Then Krishna picked up the mountain and kept it in its place again. In the meantime, Krishna threw him in the sky, hundreds of yojanas, and he came down and smashed on the ground. He was so upset because of the pain and because of the smashing of the pride also. And this fight went on for quite a long time. It was twilight time when this began, whole story. And it went for 2 ghadis. 2 ghadis means at least 48 minutes. 1 ghadi is 24 minutes, if I'm not wrong. So almost 2 hours this whole fight went on. And at the end of the fight, when Krishna finally kicked him, he was like pair jhatak raha tha. He was like throwing his legs and all the 4 limbs like anything, and was restless on the ground, and finally passing umpty number of urinations and stool, he just left his body. In the between, Krishna also lifted him with his tail and whirled him in the sky, and then smashed him, and finally he died. And lo and behold, this terrifying fight was being observed by the demigods in the sky. And they were in between laughing, in between when he lifted Krishna and threw him on the ground. They were scared, and when Krishna used to laugh and kick him, they used to laugh and throw flowers, and all these mixed emotions were happening in the sky of insecurity and security and faith and lack of faith. All these things was going on in the sky with demigods. And suddenly Arishtasur left his body. Now, as soon as Arishtasur left his body, what happened? As soon as Arishtasur left his body, he lost his bull body immediately. And then he attained the effulgent Brahman body. And everybody was surprised to see a very effulgent, beautiful, sattvic looking Brahmana, almost like a demigod. So Krishna asked him, who are you? So he said, I am a Brahmana named Varatantu. And I was a Brahman Putra in the heavens, and I was a disciple of Brahaspati, the demigod Guru, Deva Guru, Brahaspati. I sat in front of Brahaspati one time in his class with spread legs. How do we sit in the class? Do we sit with spread legs towards the speaker? Or do we put our legs in front of the speaker on another chair and sit? Unless you are like your legs are fractured and they are plastered, then you are allowed to put your foot on the another raised platform. That's a very exceptional situation. It's not that all the audience sits like that, disrespectfully towards the speaker. Maybe in the Western world, when I've gone many times, sometimes half the audience is sitting with spread legs. That shows lack of culture. The Vedic Sanskriti is not there. And when Vedic Sanskriti is there and understood by people, they will always sit with a respectful demeanor in front of the speaker to acknowledge their respectful attitude towards the speaker and listen attentively. And when the audience is sitting in respectful posture or demeanor, the speaker gets inspired. That's why I boldly told you, please come on video. Because then I get a feeling that you all are very interested in hearing what I'm going to speak. And I will pour out my heart, all that I've gathered by studying so many things. But when I feel that the audience is not interested, they don't even want to dress up at least reasonably to appear on the video. When the speaker is gone home, taken bath and put fresh tilak and put makeup and put a garland and everything, and the audience is not even willing to put up some reasonable cloth and appear, then the speaker gets discouraged. But in this case, because they were sitting with spread legs, Brahaspati told him, please don't sit like this. Sit honorably, respectfully. Still, he continued to sit like that only. So then what Brahaspati did? Brahaspati said, you are like bull. You are sitting like a lazy bull. So you become a bull, suitable to your mental attitude. How the bulls do, we have gone to Barsana and we have gone to Palghar in many hundreds of camps we did. And when the bull eats and sometimes overeats, then the bull just lies on the side with all four legs spread to one side. So it is so exhausted after eating so much that it is just trying to lie down in a very relaxed posture. So what did Brahaspati said? You are sitting like a bull in front of me. This is Guru Aparad. Oh fool, go and become a bull. So Varatantu said, I became bull immediately. And all my pride was smashed. I was thinking, I'm a Brahman Putra, I'm so effulgent, I'm so fortunate and this and that. And suddenly I realized I'm no more a Brahman Putra, I'm a bull. But in even Vishnu Puran is mentioned that actually speaking, he assumed the form of bull later on because of the curse. But he appeared in Bangladesha, that is today's Bangladesh. Actually, Bangladesh is everything. Today's Bangladesh, West Bengal, everything together was Bangladesh in those times, where this demon appeared. And he actually was not bad as a demon. When he became bull, he was not a demon, but he associated with demons. So he became, first he was Arishta, then he became Arishtasur. And then he did a lot of tapasya. And he gained a lot of power and siddhis. And with all those power and siddhis, then he fought with Kamsa one time. When Kamsa came to Bangladesh to do Digvijay. And Kamsa defeated him. In fact, the fight between Krishna and Arishtasur was not as fierce as fight between Kamsa and Arishtasur. It was very fierce. In that fierce battle, Kamsa didn't kill Arishtasur, but he subdued him, he defeated him. And then what happened? Kamsa brought him to Mathura under subjugation and told him, you have to stay here. And whatever I tell you, you have to do as my servant. So then Arishtasur came to Mathura. And at this time, on Kamsa's instructions, he has come to attack. So this is what all being explained by this Varatantu, who has become now Arishta. So what we learn is there were twofold problem with Arishtasur. One is that he was cursed, he received sharp from Brahaspati. And second was he adopted Asuri Bhav by associating with demons. That is very important to understand. So he actually fell down at the feet of Brahaspati. Then Brahaspati said, okay, my sharp is sharp, it's not going to be reversed. But when Krishna will come in the 28th Dwapar Yuga of Vaivasvata Manu in Varaha Kalpa, Adivaraha Kalpa, at that time you will be delivered. So all this story is heard by all the Brijvasis who are standing in fear. Now they saw the amazing transformation that took place with this demon who had come as a mountainous bull, creating such multiple havocs together, killing so many lives of women and sadhus. And then suddenly he has become a effulgent sadhu brahmana. And it is explained that after discussing with Krishna, Krishna blessed him. In front of eyes of everybody, that effulgent Brahmin became so effulgent that he was creating light around him all over the Brajbhumi. He created so much of light from his body, emanating from his body, all in the sky also. All the demigods were observing that light coming from his body. All the Brajvasis were observing, Krishna was observing, and suddenly a Vimana came from the skies. And sitting on the divine aeroplane, Bharatantu ascended to the spiritual world. Can you imagine the fortune? What he was doing before, what he did before even coming to Vrindavan, what kind of terrorisms he did before, and what kind of austerities he did to get the powers also. And what was his consciousness? Contaminated by the association of demon, contaminated by the curse given by his own guru. And look at that. What happens when one comes in touch with Krishna? All the demons who came in touch with Krishna, they were delivered. That is the power of Krishna. So, yena kena prakarena, mana Krishna niveshayat, constantly, whether we are demoniac, whether we are good, whether we are sattvic, whether we are budding devotees, or whether we are sincere devotees for a long time, whatever position we are in, just remain connected with Krishna. Because remaining connected with Krishna will always purify you. Always it will purify you, and it will finally deliver you and me. That's why whatever happens in life, never give up connection with Krishna. You don't need to be cursed by a sadhu to become a bull or a horse or a ajgar, python, or anything, or a duck or anything. Whatever we are worse than all those things. But if we remain voluntarily, out of choice, remain connected with Krishna, then one day Viman will come for us to take us back to Godhead. Because when you express your desire to become Krishna conscious and to remember Krishna, then Krishna becomes more eager than us to take us back to Godhead. So let us now meditate on what this Arishtasur is all about. There are some things given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur and some things I will discuss. First and foremost, the very story which Varatantu explained, why he became Arishtasur. One should always sit in front of the teacher in a respectful manner. Because teacher is a reservoir of all knowledge, and teacher can deliver that knowledge. And the first step in salvation of all our lives is to receive knowledge. Then what we do with knowledge is the further course of life. But the first step of upliftment of the soul is knowledge. And that knowledge is the teacher. The teacher is giving the knowledge. And because the first step, the student who is receiving knowledge should be utmost respectful to the teacher. His posture, his appearance, his demeanor, all is going to decide how much knowledge he is going to get. You can imagine Arjuna was practicing his arts in Australia, Astralaya, that is where they were getting trained, where the storehouse of Astras were there. This was called Astralaya. It's called today Australia. So there, when the teacher was teaching in the daytime, he was practicing in the night time. And looking at that, Dronacharya would come in the night time and would teach him something extraordinary things which he would not teach in the daytime to Kauravas and Pandavas. That kind of attention Arjuna drew from his teacher. Why? He was not lazying out when he was learning. He was very active in the daytime. He was practicing in night time. And that inspired the teacher so much. So what we should be doing as students? By our eagerness, by our respectfulness, we should inspire the teacher to give everything, pour out his heart to you. Teach everything to you what he knows. Learn everything what he knows. And that's what Arjuna did. And one day Dronacharya came to know. Ashwatthama came to know that my father is teaching something special to Arjuna in the night. So he also woke up in the night and came to his father. His father, I also want to learn. So father taught him and Arjuna only. Specifically, Dhvani Lakshya Bhed. That means you close your eyes and you shoot an arrow only with sound. You don't need your eyes to see your target. That even Dasharath had that particular skill. Dhvani Lakshya Bhed, it is called. So that was not taught to anybody. Only Ashwatthama knew and Arjuna knew. But why? Why they learned all this? Because they expressed that eagerness and they convinced the teacher, I must pour out my hidden skills to these two students. That was the point I was trying to explain. But when one is disrespectfully, his demeanor is disrespectful, then what happens? The teacher stops giving knowledge, first of all. When this fellow sat with spread legs, what first thing happened was the knowledge dissemination was stopped. Second thing what happened was warning was given. Hey, sit properly. He didn't obey that. So third thing what happened? The curse came upon him. So in the process what happened? He lost his Brahminical birth. He lost his position as a student of somebody like Brahaspati, with whom even Devavrat, son of Ganga and Shantanu, learned the science of Brahma Vidya. He lost the studentship of that particular guru. He received a curse and then he associated with a demon. And then he became Arishtasur. Look at the fate. Such a glorious life of a studentship of Devaguru Brahaspati turned out to be a demon in Bangladesh. And bad association. So much of waste of time. Being with Kamsa in Mathura. And finally what happened? He had to come to Vrindavan to create so much of atrocities, so much of damage, so much of aparadhas. So many things happened. But somehow or other, he came in contact with Krishna. That's why he was saved. Believe me, my dear friends, it may not happen with us if we do something like this. It may not happen with us. Don't think that, oh, I will do disrespectful behavior to my teacher and then he will curse me and chase me away. Then I will come in contact with Krishna one day and I'll go back to God. It is so simple it is. It is not going to happen like that. We have to be careful. We are not Arishtasur. We are not Varatantu at all. We are simply insignificant fallen souls. So we need to be very careful in following rules and regulations, in following etiquettes, in learning the culture of a student, a Vaishnava student, and not take anything for granted. Yes, my teacher will be kind upon me. He will not punish me. He is very good and he has got many students like me who are useless than me also. So nothing to worry. No. We will fall down if we take our teacher lightly. That's one lesson. Second thing, Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells that Arishtasur, what does it represent? Arishtasur represents false dharma. So what is bull? What is bull? Bull is the representative of dharma. Bull is having 4 legs. And what is the meaning of the 4 legs? Mercy, austerity, satya, truthfulness and cleanliness. Daya, Tapa, Satya, and Shuchi. These are the four limbs of the Dharma. So he came to fool people in the form of the Dharma personified. So Arishtasur represents a false show of following Dharma. Many of us are like that. We want to show how great devotees we are, how dharmic we are, how much belief we have in Dharma, and we dress up like a devotee, but in the heart of our hearts, we are what you call hypocrites. We do something, but we mean something else in the heart. So Arishtasur represent that. So see that we will be surprised to know this Arishtasur is there in the heart of all of us. The hypocrisy is there always. We are so dharmic in our external appearance and external activities, but our consciousness is always contemplating on something adharmic, and that is our private self. When our private self becomes dharmic, then we become true devotees. And our private self is something else, and our external self is doing something else. The Lord is not convinced that is my devotee. So he had attained incredible supernatural powers by tapasya. So Krishna, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that anyhow, if you attain or you have or you get some supernatural powers, sometimes we have some extraordinary power. Some people are extraordinarily rich sometimes. They are not rich, but they have a lot of power.
पेंटिंग का हाँ ऑलरेडी किया है अभी गए सब लोग
I think the host has to be a little active to maintain this silence and decor. So, what I was saying that when we get some extraordinary opulence, it must be utilized in service to Krishna and devotees. Otherwise, these same opulences or the supernatural powers that we have, it works against us to cause our destruction and ruination. So, Arishta appeared as a bull, as a representative of Dharma. He was a violent person, egoistic person, exploitative nature. He came in the guise of a religion. So, this particular tendency is one of the obstacles in path of bhakti. This is the propensity in all of us. Krishna is performing this Leela to show us how to deal with it. So, due to arrogance, he thought he would kill Krishna. Unwanted challenges that are with us. That is what anartha is defined as. Unwanted challenges that are unfavorable in our consciousness. He was so cruel, he wanted to kill Krishna, and thus Krishna killed him. So how do we deal with this adharmic tendency? We deal with adharmic tendency with a standard formula. There is one standard formula. You may sometimes surprise, whatever anartha is, the medicine remains same. It's like whatever fever you have, take crocin. Whatever I have fever, doctor gives crocin only. But it is a fact that we take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. Under his guidance, we chant Hare Krishna and we follow his instructions respectfully. Then this Arishtasur, like a dharmic tendency in the heart, gets destroyed. This is what is the essence. That's why, although this adharmic tendency is bothering everybody, but still, one personality, that is Sri Krishna. Or if not Sri Krishna, the representative of Krishna, the pure devotee, who is a Guru Maharaj, if we take shelter of him, take him seriously, follow his instructions, then this adharmic tendency, which we have been cultivating and bringing with us lifetimes after lifetimes in rebellion with Krishna, can be uprooted and can be destroyed. Arishtasur stayed in the forest called Arishtavan, just near Govardhan, Radhakund area, about 1 kilometer away. Today also that place is there, called Aritavan. Aritavan is a full place which also covers Radhakund Shamkund completely. Now it is called as Radhakund Ghera. Before that it was Arishtavan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there. Now I'll tell you first the story of, in short, I'll tell the story of appearance of Radha Kund and Shyamkund. Now, Krishna killed Arishtasur. Everybody saw the whole miracle of Varatantu appearing and going on the aeroplane, and everything was peaceful. Demigod showered flowers and chanted mantras and danced in the sky and chanted hymns in glorification of the Lord, and all this thing happened. Suddenly Krishna came very proud that he will get appreciation. You do something great, you always expect people to say thank you, very good, bravo, bravo, all done, well done. So he came with that expectation and that anticipation to gopis, that they will say, thank Krishna that you saved us from such a heinous demon. But they said, don't talk to us and don't come near us. Very surprising, opposite kind of reaction. So Krishna said, why? You killed a bull. The bull represents dharma. And we are all Govamsha Palak. Our whole life depends on cows and bulls. Our existence, our maintenance, our life and soul is cows and bulls, mother and father. And you have killed our father, the bull. You have killed dharma personified. You are a go hatyara. You are a cow killer. Govamsha hatyara. Wow. What a blessing they gave. what a compliment they are giving. Krishna said, no, I know he was a bull, but he was a demon. You all saw what he was doing. So many women aborted, babies. How do you talk like this? Don't you understand? I didn't kill a bull, I killed a demon. I said, I don't know. We don't know. You have killed a demon, that's a fact. Whatever internally it may be. But we cannot, because we respect bull as dharma and we worship him as father. So we just cannot accept you. And now we cannot talk to you because you're tinted, contaminated by the sin of killing a bull. I said, okay, I agree. Your diagnosis is right. I want to do. I don't agree, but I have to agree because I love you. Now you tell me, what do I do? You're saying, I'm not going to talk to you. But I can't live without talking to you. The person in front of whom the personified fear is fearful. He is now fearful of the threat of the gopis that they will not talk to him. So he's submitting. He says, please now tell me what I do. How do I rectify my sin, and then you will talk to me. So they said that for killing a bull, you have to go all over the universe to all the holy places defined. Take bath in them, and not even single holy place to be missed. And then we will consider you to be purified of the sin of killing a bull. Now you go. So Krishna is very smart. He said, even if I go to all the holy places and if I take bath, you will say, we haven't seen you doing all these things perfectly. You may be cheating us. So you may tell me that you are a cheater. So instead of going away to holy places, I will call all the holy places here only. In front of your eyes, they will appear. And then I will do such a wonderful thing that you will be convinced that I took bath in all the holy places. So there was one of the big hole there out of the hundreds of holes that Arishtasur created by humping the ground. So Krishna expanded that hole by his flute and by his foot also. And he made into a big hole, and then he ordered all the holy places which he invoked by just a thought. In the mind, he invoked them. Please come. And all the holy places which were in the form of a mountain, in the form of an ocean, river, pond, sarovar, well, in the form of forests, in the form of place, upavan, bagicha, whatever. Holy places are very various kinds. No, it doesn't mean that only water is the nature of the holy place. Water is one of the ingredients of the holy place. So all those personalities were water-based and non-water-based. Everybody appeared there. And they were men and women both. Deva and Devis, everybody was there. With folded hands, they were requesting Krishna, how do I serve you? How do we serve you? So Krishna said, enter in this hole. So all of them entered in that hole. All the mountains, all the forests, all the bagichas, upavans, everything entered along with water reservoirs. And externally, nobody could see the mountains and everything, but they could see the water collected. So then Krishna peacefully went with his coward friends, entered the pond, took bath, and apparently they were, apparently from the points of view of the gopis, they were cleansed of the sin of killing a bull, and that was called as Shamakunda. And then Krishna and gopis met, and that time Krishna said, I will not talk to you now. You are contaminated because you took the side of a demon to fight with me, argue with me. So you are contaminated now. Now you need to take bath in all the holy places. So Radharani and Gopi said, yeah, yes, we will do that. Krishna said, okay, if you don't want to take so much of trouble, you can take bath in my kund, which is already created by all the collection of the holy places. So Radharani said, no, I will not take bath. Now none of us will take bath in that kund because the sin of you killing a bull demon is left in that pond when you took bath. So now that pond is contaminated with the sin of killing a bull. We don't want to take bath because we will be contaminated with that contaminated water. So we will create our own pond. And then they lined up from there all the way to Manasi Ganga, which proves that Manasi Ganga was created before Radhakund and Shamkund. Today also is about 2 kilometers away from that. So that time, whatever kilometers, they are lined up from the Manasi Ganga and started collecting water from Manasi Ganga in an earthen pot and transferring from first lady to second lady, third lady, and the millionth lady. And then what she did, another hole next to that was there, and they dug up with their broken bangles. They broke their bangles, kangan, and they expanded it, and they started pouring one pot, earthen pot of water from Manasi Ganga. And it is said that Krishna fought for 2 ghadis. Then 1 ghadi was in creating Shamkund and taking bath. And remaining 2 ghadis, the gopis were trying to fill up their pond. So how many ghadis have taken place? 5 ghadis, almost 4.5 hours. And by the time it was in the middle of the night, it was already night, in the middle of the night, maybe in our condition, our situation like 11:30 in the night, maybe suppose. And they are still perspiring in the night time, trying to fill up the pond. And Krishna is laughing, and Krishna is saying, Arey, why are you taking so much of trouble? He had already signaled all the holy places after filling the water in his pond. Don't go. You just wait. You will get some more extraordinary service, Radharani and gopis. So don't go. So now they are all waiting in the sky, a little bit high in the sky, in the visual territory of vigilance of Krishna. Krishna is signaling them. And then Krishna said, Hey, gopis, Radharani, why are you taking so much of trouble? Why don't you take service from these demigods and demigoddesses who are waiting for your service, begging for your service, longing for your service? So then he signaled 4 of them, come down. So 4 of them chieftains came down and they fell at the feet of Radharani. He said, Radharani, why are you perspiring? Oh, gopis, why are you taking so much trouble? Order us. We are very eager to fill up all of us want to fill up your pond. So very mercifully, Radharani finally agreed. And then the 4 of them signaled to everybody else, and all of them came. And they filled up this Kankan Kunda. Kankan Kunda is the kunda made by Radharani's and other gopis, Kankana, that is bangles. And then that kunda was formed. And while that kunda was being formed, Krishna was so happy, so blissful. Krishna said, this kunda is not water. This kunda is Radharani's liquid love for me. It is no more, it is not different from Radharani. It is Radharani's love for me. And he said, whoever will take bath in these waters any time of Radhakund, he will be freed from all the sins and he'll develop love as much as Radharani has for me. And third thing he said, this kunda is more dear to me than my life and as dear to me as Radharani. So whoever will take bath in this will be as dear to me as my dear Radharani is dear to me. You get the difference, na? One is that person will develop the love that Radharani has for me, the bhakti and love and devotion. And second thing is, he will become as dear to me as Radharani. And first thing he told, that is not water, but it is Radharani's liquid love. So you're not entering in ordinary water. So many boons Krishna gave. And he said, whoever comes here and takes bath here will be very, very dear to me. And while this was being said, all the gopis took bath in Radhakund. And then there are many versions of the story. One version is that all the demigoddesses, holy places, they poured their waters in that. Another story is that they were trying, and then Krishna created a hole. There was like a bridge separating the effortful kunda with the formed kunda. There's a bridge in between. Krishna's kunda was filled, and the other effortful kunda was being under making, but not getting filled. So Krishna broke the bridge in between, and the water gushed and filled up Radharani's kunda. Okay, and another thing is that when this kunda was being made, Krishna's heart overwhelmed. So Shamkunda swelled, and the waters overflew from the so-called bridge or so-called barrier in between, and then filled the kund. Even today, at many times in the end of the rainy season, Radhakund, Shamkund become one actually. Shamkund floods and it becomes one. I have got photographs also. But there is no bridge in between. Only one level pond is there. Both the kundas are covered in that. So when this whole pastime took place, and Krishna also took bath in Radhakund, because Radharani is very dear to him. Krishna and Gopal all took bath in Radhakund. And after all this happened, Radharani said that I will come and take bath in Shamkund every day. Even though you kill 100 Arishtasurs, and 100 times you come and take bath here and leave your sin, I don't mind taking bath in your kund. And every day at 11:48 a.m., she goes and with her 64 Sakhis, she takes bath in Shamkund. There is something called as Pandava Ghat. Today's Pandava Ghat. That time, of course, Pandava Ghat was not there. Because Pandava, everything, happened to come there in the form of trees after Mahabharat war. And this is much, much before Mahabharat war, because Krishna was just within 10 and 11 years old. So later on, it became Pandava Ghat. But at that Ghat, Pandavas were performing tapasya in the form of trees. And that Ghat, Radharani takes bath. Opposite that Ghat, there's Pasha Khela Ghat in Shamkund, where Radharani plays Pasha, that means Chaucer, game of chess. And Radharani defeats Krishna and his friends while playing chess. It is said that Radharani gets defeated by Krishna in almost all games because of cheating tendency. But when they sit down for Chaucer, then Radharani and party defeats Krishna miserably. And Krishna has to give a lot of gifts and a lot of penalties after losing the game. And Radhakund and Shamkund are places filled with so many other holy places. There is not one sadhu from any sampradaya, renowned sadhu, who has not come at the bank of Radhakund and Shamkund and performed his bhajan. So we see unlimited holy places, unlimited baithaks of Madhavendra Puri, Vallabhacharya, 6 Goswamis, you name any sadhu from any sampradaya who has not come and resided at the banks of Radhakund. Scriptures say to attain even a moment's residence, what to speak of permanent residence, what to speak of taking birth, even if one attains moment's residence at Radhakund, that is considered to be the ultimate mercy of Radharani. Radhakund, Shamkund area is the ultimate mercy reservoir in the whole of Brajbhumi. The Brajbhumi is itself a very merciful place. But Radhakund, Shamkund is the heart. Unlimited showers of blessings are there in Radhakund and Shamkund. Radharani is extraordinarily merciful to all the devotees of Radha and Krishna. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came from Kamyavan to Nandagaon to Govardhan, and from Govardhan he came to external consciousness. Till this time he was in transcendental consciousness, dancing and shedding tears and falling on the ground. And suddenly when he came to Arishtavan, he came back to external consciousness. And then he asked the local Brijvasis, where is Radhakund and Shamkund? So nobody could tell where is Radhakund and Shamkund. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat under one tamal tala, under one tamal tree, and sat in deep meditation. And in his deep meditation, he saw those two ponds, Radhakund and Shamkund, which at that time were two muddy puddles. But he could see in his meditation the divine darshan of Radhakund and Shamkund. So he opened his eyes and he jumped on those muddy puddles, turn by turn, 1 and second. And he was taking the mud and rubbing on his body and shouting, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So all the Brijvasis were amazed to see the ecstasy in this golden sannyasi and doing amazing thing like jumping in the muddy puddle and chanting the names of Krishna. After a long time, he came to again external consciousness. They asked him, what happened? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that this is Radhakund and Shamkund. So thus Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for the contemporary world, for the first time after 5,000 years, 4,500 years, you can say, technically, he revealed the lost Radhakund and Shamkund to the external vision of the worldly people. And then he engaged Raghunath Das Goswami to renovate. And Raghunath Das Goswami renovated the Radhakund and Shamkund. And he also excavated the Kankana Kund, which was originally there. And on the day of on the day of Baula Ashtami, when Radhakund appeared in the middle of the night, as I explained to you, 5 gadis and 6 gadis, it reached up till midnight one time. And actually at midnight time, Radhakund and Shamkund appeared by the entrance of all the holy places. So today also, on the day of Radhakund appearance, in the middle of the night, milk comes out of Radhakund. Springs. I have seen it personally. Why it comes? Because the Kshirosagar aspect of the collective holy places manifests its milk out of ecstasy of Radhakund appearance day. And that milk is everything. Other things is also water only. Na? So if water just comes out of ecstasy, then you will not make a difference. But when white water comes out of that, you will see the difference in the water. You can make out something white is coming out. If something water is coming out in the water, how will you know water is coming out? Unless it springs in the sky. So that is Kshirosagar part of the ingredient of Radhakund. Another proof I will tell you. In between, they had excavated Radhakund Shamkund. I have seen Radhakund Shamkund empty totally. And there was so much of, I think, some meters of dirt was there in that. Mud of meters of length, meters of depth, you can see. And that was all taken out by bulldozer. And such tons and tons of mud was taken out. Suddenly, something like 1 kilometer height of spring of milk came out from that. And people had tough time to control that spring of milk, which was flying so high, fountain in the sky. And finally, they had to put cement bags on that to control that uncontrollable spring of water. And not only that, many other springs of there, but milk spring was very prominently seen and very distinctly seen because milk is white in color. Other waters are watery in color. So that also proved that all these holy places are there underground, under the earth of Radhakund and Shamkund. They still reside there today. You need to have faith to actually see and believe what is happening over there. It's not an ordinary place. And Radharani's, so many stories are there in Radhakund and Shamkund where she had showered unbelievable, causeless mercy over devotees. Like she has given shelter to a Lomdi. Lomdi means she jackal. Straight from jackal body to straight to her gopi associate. Huh? And Sri Krishna performs his Rasa Leela around Radhakund, Shamkund. And there is an unknown bridge, unseen bridge in the middle of waters of Radhakund, leading to a lotus, which is also unseen in the middle of the water of Radhakund, where Radha Krishna are seated, gopis are surrounding them, and they perform Rasa Leela. And Janava Devi came and resided at the banks of Radhakund. Raghunath Das Goswami narrated Chaitanya Charitamrut, later half. He was narrating, and that was compiled by Krishnadas Kaviraj. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote Chaitanya Charitamrut at the banks of Radhakund. Gopal Bhatta Goswami stayed at the banks of Radhakund. Raghunath Das Goswami left his body at the banks of Radhakund, and his samadhi is there at the banks of Radhakund. I can just go on and on telling all the Goswamis resided over there. And as soon as Radhakund was formed, all the Sakhis also made their own ponds by allowing the holy places personified to enter in their own ponds. So at the same time when Radhakund was produced, there are Ashtasakhi Kunda also was produced around Radhakund. And today, amongst those Radhakund plus 8 kundas, supposed to be 9 kundas and 10th is Sham Kund. Among those 10 kundas, only 3 kundas are remaining. One is Radhakund, Sham Kund and Lalita Kund. Lalita Kund is on the left side of Radha Kund. And Lalita's Kund is extremely powerful in purifying all varieties of sins that we perform. One of them is abortion, Brun Hatya, killing of one's own fetus. Such a heinous crime also is purified when one takes bath in Lalita Kund. So we can go on describing the glories of Radha Kund and Sham Kund. Even if you go to the holy place of Radha Kund and Sham Kund, it will take you three days to visit the holy places in and around Radha Kund and Sham Kund. So let us all, in the name of Arishtasur, in the name of killing of Arishtasur, let us all pray with sincere heart to Radha Kund and Sham Kund. It is said that even if you remember Radha Kund and Sham Kund, you will achieve the ultimate mercy of Radharani. Radharani's extraordinary mercy in giving you devotion and love for Krishna is unlimitedly available at the banks of Radhakund, in the waters of Radhakund. So however dirty the water may be from external and biological and biochemical point of view, one should not hesitate to touch the waters and take bath. And Prabhupada would not allow people to take bath in Radhakund. So he said that we are not come here to play sports, water sports. We are not eligible to touch the waters with our wretched feet. But at the same time, Rupa Goswami advises us on the order of our Guru Maharaj. If at all Guru Maharaj permits, one can take bath or one can take Achman if the permission is not there. It took us about 12 years of repeated visits with Radhanath Swami to Vrindavan Dham, but we were not allowed to take bath. We started going in 1986 and we went until number of times till 1998. In 1998, in the association of Sachinandan Swami and Radhanath Swami at 7:30 in the evening with a 45-minute pin drop silence lecture given by both of them to prepare us in the freezing cold water of Radhakund and Shamkund. We took first time bath in number of 2,000 devotees. So one time Prabhupada went with devotees and devotees started jumping and swimming and splashing water. He just ordered everybody to come out. Said, you guys are not qualified to take bath in Radhakund. Just get out of Radhakund. This is not any other ordinary pond or holy pond. This is a very special pond. But it is explained that if one chants in the month of Kartik, Radha Kripa Kataksha, composed by Lord Shiva in service to Radharani, 108 times, if one chants Radha Kripa Kataksha, standing immersed in the water of Radhakund, one will surely get loving devotional service towards Sri Krishna. That is the blessing. And Radhakund water will ultimately purify all of us. So even if you are not there, you can meditate on the appearance of, the darshan of Radhakund and Shamkund and spend some time there. At times meditate on being there and chant one round. So that also is equivalent to the associating at the banks of Radhakund and Shamkund. So all this is because of the story of killing of Arishtasur. So we remember Arishtasur and we also remember Radhakund and Shamkund. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So if any of you have any questions, then I would like to answer in my capacity.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hari Bol.
Prabhuji, in the beginning you mentioned 4 books for reference. Gopal Champu,
Vishnu Puran, Srimad Bhagavatam and Gopal Champu. Anybody else? Any question? Okay. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll meet again next time. Next Katha will be on Keshi Ghat, on killing of Keshi demon. Let's all come together next Monday. Thank you.